Hey guys, it's me, bittersteel here, back with another video for Hearts of Iron 4. And today I have one that's been requested many times on the channel, and I've been putting it off for quite a while. But since we have reached 15,000 subscribers, I feel I owe it to you guys. That's right, we're gonna start in 1939, can only mean one thing, Poland. Yes, we are going for 30 minutes of hell. Let's get going. Of course, Iron Man mode is on, as well as historical AI, and let's go. But first, if you like these videos, leave a like and hit me up in the comments telling me what you want to see me try next. Maybe a cool challenge, maybe some achievements you're having trouble with. I'm always open to some more suggestions. Also consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload more content. Other than that, we have a very cool and active Discord community. I'll leave links to that down in the description below. But enough rambling. On to the video. Poland. First things first, the army. We'll get rid of them. We won't need them. And we'll do the same with the Air Force. Research. Pretty much going to focus on infantry equipment, artillery, and doctrines. Speaking of doctrines, I don't like Grand Battle Plan. I don't like Mass Assault either. I do love mobile warfare, but it's not really feasible right now, so superior firepower it is. Yes, I know, another superior firepower game. It is what it is. It's just so good. They didn't want me to use it, they should nerf it. Do construction. Let's build a civilian, about 3, maybe 4 in Warsaw, and follow up with mills. As for production, we won't need these light tanks, nor the motorized. Don't really need these fighters either, or the close air support, but I'm gonna keep making them for now. I've grown very fond of CAS, and, well, I don't think it's gonna be that bad if we keep them. And we'll finish up with towed artillery. We will need a lot of towed artillery. Maybe not that many. Let's put one more factory on guns and finish up with towed artillery. As for focuses, I like to start with Polish militarism. Not only does that give us 2.5% recruitable pop, I do like having 20 army experience to change our templates around, because we are still using the basic ones and they're not great. Oh, dockyards. Just make some convoys, really. And now, to make this strategy work, we modify the government. Going to hire the demagogue, obviously. We'll need him for some events. I like to hire the industrialist here, because we need a lot of factories. Then there's a hidden gem here, the chief of navy. The old guard here, 10% political power gain. Pretty good. Infantry expert, very nice. And I like to pick army offense expert. Army defense expert isn't bad, but I'm more offense oriented. And we'll hold off with spending anything else for now. Next up, into the decisions. What we want to do is flip ideologies so the Germans will like us. And let's start working on that. First order of business, we open up political discourse, then we discredit the government. What this does is cut non-aligned support by just enough and handing it out to the other ideologies that, click that, we can now prepare for civil conflict, because we now suddenly have enough support and we prepare. There we go. We can't ignite the civil conflict just yet because we need less than 50% stability, and we are at 59 now. Now we could lower that manually, but that's not needed. Germany is going to come for our Danzig, and when they declare, we'll drop our stability anyway. Now to pull off the strategy, we will need to wait for the German declaration. So put the game on the lowest speed possible and play until Germany declares, and then instantly pause for the next part. There, 1 hour later and Germany has declared. Now we move on. Our stability is low enough that we can indeed ignite our civil conflict. And through mechanics that are entirely unknown to me, our evil twin has risen and is in a fight with us, obviously, and the Germans. I don't know why the Germans aren't fighting us, but oh well. Not only that, but this evil twin of ours does not have the French or British guarantee. We still have that. Again, no idea why, but I'll take it. And since we are of the same ideology and fighting the same enemy, the Germans are all too happy to invite us into the Axis, which we are going to accept. Very nice, Mr. Mustache Man. Now we'll just let the Germans do the fighting here while we deploy troops. We need a lot of troops to make up for that army we deleted. Just make as many of these cavalry divisions as you can and force deploy them as soon as possible. We want to get at least 2 armies out the door. I don't think we have the equipment to outfit more than 2, but at least 2. And now we speed up the game and keep it rolling. As you can see, the Germans do all the heavy lifting for us. There. Now our evil twin is defeated and we are one Poland once more. And we can immediately ramp up to a war economy. Very nice. Should have done that the instant we unpaused, but I am forgetful. Now, from this point onwards, there are a few options. Option 1, the Hungarians. I like to start out with a little cheeky justification on Hungary. They will not be guaranteed by any democratic nations because they are the right ideology, and they'll be free real estate. Their army is weak, and if we can take them, that secures a pretty large flank for us in our later conflict with the Germans. However, because Poland is still around and the AI doesn't really know how to handle that, Germany and the USSR go off the rails at this point. I have no idea what the Germans are going to do. I have no idea what the USSR is going to do. Could come for us, they could go for one of the Baltics, they could go for Finland, or they could go for Germany. Same with Germany, they could go for the Low Countries now, they could go for the Soviet Union now. I have no idea, it's different every game. So let's see what plays out. I will get that justification going on Hungary. If we end up fighting the Soviet Union before this finishes, there's no point in going through with this because Hungary is just gonna join the Comintern and get gobbled up by our Axis friends here, leaving us with, well, no real gain. But let's unpause and see what happens. Alright, first batch of horses is ready, and we'll switch these out for infantry, assign them a general, and just set these guys to training because they are pretty green right now. I'll put an army on the Hungarian border. I am hopeful that we'll be able to snag them. If not, oh well, it is what it is. Oh, Soviet Union's gone for Finland. Hi Finland. And that's 19 more horses. Convert these to infantry as well. That gives us 2 full armies. We'll need to wait for equipment now though. Now, as for research, I suggest just focusing on infantry and artillery. Well, obviously doctrines as well, but don't bother going for tanks or heavily investing in airplanes. Maybe you have some research slots available and everything's caught up. Sure, invest in planes, but it's too late to go for tanks now. In terms of industry, well, most of the stuff is researched. I wouldn't mind getting assembly line production here, 1941. It's a bit ahead of time, but extra production efficiency is very nice. Or we could really rush it and get concentrated 5, but that's a year and a half ahead of time. It's still gonna take a year and a half. It is pretty long. Then again, what else am I gonna research? Might as well. I'm also going to take improved worker conditions now. Let's go. We are desperately in need of more stability. I really don't like being below 50% while fighting someone because I hate getting strikes. Strikes are so bad and crippling. No, anti-Comintern pact. Sure, let's join that. And the Romanians have decided to join the party. Russians still not really doing anything, so I guess that's good. Oh, I spoke too soon. Yes, Soviets have gone for the Germans. Now, we have 2 options here. Either I completely ignore this conflict for now and focus on getting my justification off on the Hungarians, gobble them up, and then throw my weight at the Soviet Union alongside the rest of the Axis. Or we completely divert our entire army to the Soviet Union, abandon our plans in Hungary, and just try to get as much participation as possible. Both have their advantages. If we take Hungary, that's a lot of free guns when they capitulate, plus it secures quite a bit of territory and we'll have an easier time defending that flank. However, if we decide to fight the Soviet Union early, we get more participation out of it, and we have the option of quickly expanding down to the south, cutting off the Romanians. That means all the pushing will go through our territory and we will get the occupation, giving us even more participation. Now let's have a look at Hungary. That's still going to take 110 days. That is pretty long. And I do expect Germany to push hard through Romania. But before we make a decision here, let's go to the focuses first. We could go down to Poland first and ideological fanaticism. That's another 10% stability here. But before we do that, I think it's good to get ourselves some more factories and work towards additional research slots. I'm gonna get a mill first, follow up with a civilian. Like I said before, we have options and I think I'm gonna stick with it and try and get our justification done on the Hungarians and gobble them up, then join the Axis versus the Soviets. I think we can count on them being able to hold in Bessarabia. We'll see. Could go for rebuild the nation. Extra 10% factory output is pretty big, as well as that construction speed for civs. Then again, 1 political power a day for a full year, that's a lot. That's really much. Still, I don't think there's anything else we're going to get, so I'm gonna just click that. Of course, Finland joined the Axis. Soviet Union, couldn't you have just... You have a breach, a workable breach. Couldn't you have just capitulated the Finns, and then declared on Germany? No, you gotta be an idiot about it. Don't accept these call to arms. We'll join on our own time. Germany is gonna do some weird stuff in the Low Countries now, I bet. We don't want to end up fighting the Allies. If we have to fight the Allies, we will not be able to leave the Axis at a time of our choosing, and we'll have to do that to get the actual achievement, namely ending 1.8 million Germans. So be careful not to end up fighting the Allies. So 100 days until we can gobble up the Hungarians. Looks like the Axis is doing okay in the south. I don't want them to do too well, I just want this to stall. Of course Belgium joins the Comintern. Why not? I'm gonna switch most of my production over to artillery, then fill up infantry equipment after. I need a lot of artillery pieces. And the Netherlands are now in the Comintern as well. Yep. Like I said, I need a lot of artillery pieces because this is our basic template and I want to switch out of this as quickly as we can. This is an 18 combat with infantry block. It's pretty much useless. What I want to do is duplicate this and make it something a little more usable. This is the basic template we'll switch out to once it's feasible to do so. Still not amazing, but better than the infantry block. We need a lot of artillery to make that switch. While we prepare to take out the Hungarians, might as well get my air force out there. Such as it is. At least the CAS will be helpful to break the Hungarian lines. That's one military factory. Let's get Upper Silesia for a civilian. And then we'll work on the research slot. Assuming we'll have 50 factories by then. Is this a breach already? Oh, Romania. Most of the German army is occupied in the Low Countries, but I think they'll clean this up quickly enough. I'm gonna pick up assembly line production. That extra production efficiency is going to help. Like I said, we need a lot of equipment out the line. I did make another change to this base infantry block. I added some support artillery to it. This will help our initial assault on the Hungarians. I'll switch units out from this quickly anyway, so it's not a big waste. They can stop exercising. We'll need them ready to strike in 30 days. I think I can keep them exercising. Most of them are finished. At least Germany is almost finished in the Low Countries. But Romania isn't looking too good. Oh boy. I just hope the Axis can stabilize this Romanian nightmare. Germany should have a lot of available troops once Paris falls.
12 seconds later.
Alright, let's take out the Hungarians. Just quickly declare on them. We'll not call in the rest of the Axis. I don't want any funny business here. And let's just aggressively attack with a little bit of a force attack behind it. Shouldn't be too difficult. Most of their troops are undersupplied and under-equipped. Yeah, pretty successful breach. From this point onward, Hungary's already lost. God, Romania really doesn't look too healthy. Then again, neither does France. Alright, there we go. French are out. That's gonna see a lot of German troops rush towards this giant mess in Romania. Upper Silesia done. Let's head down to this extra research slot. And that's the Hungarians done for. And we'll simply puppet them. Don't need anything else from them. And we're done. Now we divert those troops to the front line. Once they're all in position, we can join this mighty struggle with the Soviet Union. Right, still need a field marshal. It's probably best if I promote this guy. Seems to be high level. And assign this new guy to the armies. Logistics wizard. Don't mind if I do. Alright, I want to join this, but that's gonna pull us into a fight with the Allies as well. Not what I want. Instead, I think I'll just justify manually. At least that way I will not be involved in that fight. Because I really don't want to fight the Allies. If you have to fight the Allies, you can't leave the Axis when you want to. And that's really important. We have to be able to leave the Axis so we can fight the Germans alongside what's left of the Allies. Ha, those Hungarian factories are already rolling in. That's nice.
20 minutes later.
Alright, let's declare on the Soviets. Oh, wait, that's bad. They'll get Great Patriotic War. How purged are they, let's say? That's still a pretty bad purge. Oh well, yeah, they'll get their Great Patriotic War, but that's fine. We just cannot afford to fight the Allies. Let's make use of that and quickly push out while we can. They should still be a little disorganized, and the Great Patriotic War doesn't cover the entirety of the purge debuff. In hindsight, it might have been better to just leave Hungary to its fate and let them join the Axis. Then again, Does it really matter that they get the Great Patriotic War? I don't think it does. Soviet Union is just gonna fall over. If we can start pushing and keep pushing, we should be able to push them all the way to the Urals. We are gonna take some casualties though. I'll halt it to their north, but I'll keep the south going for now. Seems to be largely unopposed. In case anyone's wondering why I'm not micromanaging like I used to, my mouse is pretty much on its last legs. It doesn't really click right anymore, and until I have a replacement, I'll just try to make use of these automatic orders as much as I can. It's not ideal, but hey, it is what it is. Oh boy, that's a large Soviet naval invasion. They're gonna lose all those troops though, because the Germans still have reserves. Now I'm going to use all leftover troops I can find to start a little front line against Lithuania. I plan to cheekily justify on Lithuania. It takes 30 days, and I hope that by doing so quickly, they will not get a guarantee. The Allies might be too busy with other things, and we might, I say might, get away with a justification on Lithuania. That would allow us to form the Commonwealth, giving us a lot of cores. Then again, might not work, no guarantees once more, but I'm gonna try anyway. And the extra research slot, very nice. How's our participation looking? It should be nice. Yeah, 16%. Not great, but definitely not terrible. Losses are minimal, and we are shredding these guys. We are rapidly running out of steam, though, in the south. Still, any progress is good. We're gonna try and keep pushing until we've pretty much cut off the Romanians from the front line. That will allow us to get all the occupation. Oh, and since we'll be occupying a lot of land, might actually be better if we pick up some support companies. Yes, military police is going to be very helpful. Yeah, I'm going to halt this offensive. It's becoming too expensive. The line is getting stretched. I'll leave my allies to do any further attacking. We've got a lot of land already. Let's have a look at the UK. What are they doing? Burma Road. Of course, I have no way of knowing just how much political power they have, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to justify on them. If it doesn't work, that's fine. We'll come back to that later. Oh yeah, that instant guarantee. Fine, we'll cancel justification, and we'll come to this later. Would have been nice to get all these cores, though. Oh well. Oh, that's what I feared. Strikes. Yeah, this is gonna suck. Always click the most expensive option and hope for the best. I'm gonna take a risk here and concentrate my offensive army, the one that I've switched to 14-4s, and put them to the south here, and hope that the Axis actually garrisons the front line enough on their own. I'll have to stretch my own troops over this pretty large territory. Got the additional research slot. There's some stuff here to pick up. Fallen First and ideological fanaticism. That's 10% stability. After that, I think I'm gonna hold off from picking focuses. I need a lot more political power. And I hope that Rebuild the Nation runs out quickly. Alright, let's see if we can get a push going to the south here. I just want to drive towards the Black Sea and cut off Romania. Oh, thank God. Strikes are gone. Let's keep bumping that stability up. And good, we've cut them in half. The Germans worry about the rest. I'm gonna stop my offensives and just shore this up. This way, any future offensives are gonna go straight through our territory, giving us the occupation. There's gonna be a lot of Soviet casualties in these pockets. Ooh, these are juicy pockets. Oh, that's a lot of Soviet divisions gone. Looks like a bit of a desperate Soviet counteroffensive. We can't really hold that line, I think. I'll try a last stand, see if they wear themselves out. In the south, we're pushing hard, though. Yeah, they're not stopping us anytime soon. They're trying another naval landing. Shouldn't be too successful. Germany still has a lot of reserves. I'm expecting this to do wonders for our occupation. Or rather, our participation. Not wonders. 18%. 19. Good enough. Alright, Poland first. That gets us up to 48. Ideological fanaticism will bump us over 50. Finally. Look at these Soviet casualties. 2 million already. Yeah, there's a lot of troops lost in those pockets. Alright, military police. Best switch those in. Go to the cavalry and swap this for MPs. Good. And make these a little bit bigger. The bigger the division, the fewer divisions are required, and the fewer divisions that are required, the less support equipment you need. Ideally, make this a full block, like fill every slot with cavalry, if these are your garrison templates. Mexico's gone insane. That's a first. But, sure. Sure, I don't really mind. Our equipment shortages are slowly draining away, and we have managed to switch the entire army over to 7.2s. So just gonna wait for these guys to recover, get their equipment in, and then we'll launch another offensive. And the last of these Soviet pockets are now being closed as well. Good. The game seems pretty confident that we can make a push here, so I'm gonna see what happens. Yeah, the game is a bit overconfident. That's a lot of red bubbles. A bit too many, but to the south we're actually doing quite well. Okay, so I'm gonna stop this. Just make individual orders. Might actually be better. It's probably better. Always is. Don't worry too much about these red bubbles. We're not doing anything. This is pretty much just the AI bashing their heads against the Soviets. That's fine with us. They can lose all the men they want to. We'll get ourselves occupation, and that gives us participation. And in a final push, we'll get some more. Already at 19, 20%. We're fine. We're fine. More, of course, would be better. Also going to build up the infrastructure in my steel-producing areas. That's going to give me more stuff. I do like having more stuff. Let's help out this German offensive. Yes, we'll take casualties, but that improves our participation anyway. Just keep pushing. I think at this point, the Soviets aren't really going to stand and fight. We'll defeat them. Might take a while, but we'll defeat them. And every one of these pockets that closes is just more Soviet troops that will never again return. Alright, ideological fanaticism is done. We're over 50% stability, so we're safe from strikes. What else? There's no really interesting focuses here to take. Maybe artillery modernization and army modernization, two research boosts, and then some stuff in the airplanes. I'm gonna go with the artillery. Oh, Yugoslavia is in the Allies. That means Germany. Yeah, Germany's done something crazy. As expected. Means a lot of troops are gonna flow away from this front line, though. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Also, best start recruiting a few additional units. Another army group. We'll never get this finished, but why not try? See if the Germans have any guns to spare for us. None. At least the Italians will give us some towed artillery. Something. Germany won't give us any guns. Or Soviet naval landing. Germany should respond to that. Yeah, that's like ants rushing out of their anthill. Looks like the end for the Soviet Union's here. With all those troops coming back from Yugoslavia. They're just crumpling now. Might as well keep this going. We'll get all the occupation. We'll put in some casualties from fighting. And after this is done, we will recover our losses. Limited conscription might be best if we ramp that up to extensive. We are running a little low on manpower. Oh yes, delicious encirclements. They're small, but every little bit helps. Oh, finally, Germans will send us guns. We need those. Yeah, 4,000. Yeah, better than nothing. Maybe Italians are friendly as well. No. No, they're not. Oh, Bulgaria will send guns. Sure, I'll take everything at this point. Meanwhile, Japan has finished in China. That's bad news for the Allies. Another 150 PP. Might spend that on improved worker conditions. The higher our stability, the better. And maybe some war propaganda.
2 hours later.
Well, Soviet Union's pretty much dead. Just a little bit more. We'll come out of this with 30% contribution. That's very decent. And before we end this, might as well ramp it up to total mobilization. It's gonna cost us some recruitable pop, but that's a sacrifice we can make. Finally, peace deal. Alright, this is going to be important what we do next. Now, two things that are incredibly important in this peace deal. One, we have to puppet the Soviet Union. Very, very important. And two, we want to cut off the Germans or any other fascist nation from getting too many gains. How do we do that? Well, we just completely block them off from the shoreline as well as from anything inland. That is going to be a bit of a challenge though. First turn is not going to be ideal, but we'll see what we can do with this. So for a first turn, that's not too bad. We've blocked them off mostly. And subsequently we will now give everything else to the Soviet Union while doing the same. Again, block them off from land connections or sea connections. That includes the Asian holdings. And once you've got them blocked, they'll stop taking stuff and you can just give them to your puppet at your leisure, giving you a very nice, very strong Soviet Union. So I'd say this is a pretty good deal we ended up with. We have a massive Russian puppet. Unfortunately, there's a pretty sizable chunk of Germany here, but we did manage to cut them off mostly. Yes, I know there's a bunch of border war going on. That's fine. We'll just return that to Russia. There. It's much cleaner. This does annoy me somewhat because that creates a front line that I'm not entirely willing to occupy fully. Wish I could have taken these two tiles, or at least one of the two. That would have been easier to make a front line against, but it is what it is. What we will do now is build up our strength, train troops, produce equipment, build factories, make our army as strong as possible before we leave the Axis and stumble our way into the Allies. It's only 1942, so we should have some time before the Allies start throwing massive naval invasions at Europe. So let's get to work. In terms of construction, we will now shift our focus entirely towards building military factories in our Russian puppet. This will keep their autonomy down, and it will, well, in turn create military factories for us, since we get a certain percentage of their military factories. They're also a great trading partner because they don't really take that much, they don't really take that many civilian factories away. That's why we're building stuff in their territory as well to offset our trade with them. And now we do our little build up. It could take a year, could take a year and a half. We have time. Our newfound industrial might, as you can see, 95 factories. We should be able to pull this off. Our next leg of the journey will require taking down Germans and inflicting 1.8 million casualties on them. And we'll also switch out these templates soon. I'll duplicate them into something a little more spicy. So we'll move into 14 force, basically just doubling the 7-2 template. These guys will have a lot more punch. And once the supplies allow, I'll add support artillery as well. Some support anti-air. This will help us pierce those tiny little German tanks and shoot down a lot of their CAS. And maybe, should my industry allow, might pick up rocket artillery just for that soft attack so we can kill many Germans. I'm also going to make a Russian version of this, where we go into this list here, the Russian Empire, and pick one of their divisions to modify. And that way we can use their manpower. Now, as far as focuses goes, we've pretty much run out of the useful stuff. I'm just going to keep this on suppressed subjects to keep my Russian puppet in line. I'll be heavily relying on them for imports of steel, tungsten and aluminum, not to mention the manpower I'm going to use in future, so I don't want them to ramp up their autonomy. Keep them down. Now, there's really no point to sticking around in the Axis anymore, so I think I am just going to skedaddle and leave this faction. It's fine. Meanwhile, quickly grab a justification on the Lithuanians and see if the Allies will have us. We've generated too much world tension. That's unfortunate. Now, my plan was to leave the Axis, justify Lithuania, and get myself into the Allies. Unfortunately, we have generated a little bit much of this world tension here. We should be able to still join once we're fighting the Germans, though. At least I believe so. Meanwhile, I'll get to work on the German cipher and getting some intel in the area. As we get more and more equipment, we'll also change the armies that we already have into 14 force, and anything we recruit fresh will be 14 force. That way we don't need as many troops, they'll be high quality and will inflict massive casualties on the Axis. Ah, what's this? They are still inviting us to their faction. That's perfect. Alright, quickly grab a justification on the Lithuanians. 120 days, fine. And we'll accept this offer to join the Allies. There we go. Should be able to still gobble them up now when this justification finishes. Good, 120 days. We will not be joining the fight against the Axis just yet. We need a lot more troops before we go anywhere.
One eternity later.
So we now have enough troops to garrison, or at least protect, every flank. Should be almost ready to get this going. Shouldn't take too long once we get involved. Just hope we can finish off enough Germans to get this achievement to fire. Just gonna wait for my equipment stockpiles to recover, and then we'll get to work on the Axis. Might even be able to snag Lithuania here before that. Alright, we finished this justification on Lithuania. Unfortunately, they're guaranteed by the United Kingdom, who have removed us from their faction. Sadly. Thanks for that, UK. So I'll just start justifying on the Germans. We'll take 30 days. And that should be enough to motivate the UK to invite us again once we declare on the Germans. If it doesn't, too bad, we will not be fighting Lithuania then. Either way, we have to fight Germany, so let's get going. If we get another invite from the UK, I'll take that and accept the call to arms. Okay, our justification on the Germans is finished. We can declare it any moment. And we still have about a month left before this expires. So I'm going to get some troops from Hungary. I'm going to get them into position to garrison this border with Lithuania. And wait for everybody to be in position, and then we kick things off. Alright, looks like everyone's in position. The front lines are covered. Our justifications are in place. It's time to determine the fate of Poland once and for all. We'll now declare on the Germans. It's going to pull Italy in, obviously, and Japan. Sadly, that will cause us to lose a lot of rubber, so be it. We'll not be calling any allies in. I don't want my puppets involved in this. Their purpose is to secure our flanks. So, offensive in the Königsberg pocket, very aggressive, fiercely push in there. I want to close that as quickly as possible, and if it's possible here, I'd like to do some German destruction as well. Let's take the speed down and let's go. Germany is taking casualties at least. So far, 383,000. 1.5 million to go. Also, it doesn't look like we'll be getting any invitations from the UK, so yeah, we're gonna have to take the hit when this war goal expires. Sadly, I really would have liked to get this done, but no, that's gonna draw the UK in. Oh well, it doesn't work every time, I guess. Ooh, I need to shore this up. I had expected my troops to do a little better down south. Well, our purpose is to inflict casualties, and that does seem to be working. Right now, cleaning up in Slovakia. I will need to redeploy my front. I think I'll need more troops in this Crimean region. A couple more offensives should do the trick, really. Yeah, we already inflicted 800,000 casualties, 1 million more Germans to go. And all in all, we're doing quite well. Our stockpiles aren't really that low. Manpower is fine. Just fuel, though. We'll need a lot of fuel. Oh, look, the UK is willing to consider another invitation to their faction. See if I can cheaply justify quickly. 10 days. And accept that invite. I'll redeploy some troops up there already. South is almost secure. At least Slovakia here is almost secure. Then I'll swing these troops around to this front. We are struggling a little here. Germans have poured in a lot more troops. Oh, the fall of Pearl Harbor? What? Oh. Japan has managed to invade Pearl Harbor. Sure. Sure. Still, in terms of hurting the enemy, I think we're doing quite well. 900,000 already, so another 900,000 to go. It looks like everything's pretty stable. We have lost our rubber source though, because we're now fighting the Siamese Empire as well. Yeah, and Japan and Germany control all of the world's rubber. Yeah, that's bad. Oh, yeah. India's on its way out.
A few moments later.
Alright, now we can finally gobble up Lithuania. They'll join the Axis, that's fine. I don't really care. At least this guarantee doesn't come into effect now. We can quickly gobble them up. For some reason, Turkey's joined the Allies. I'm not sure that was a good move, Turkey. But, yeah, we'll see. Oh, and the Allies have managed to lose the entirety of Africa. How? You oh, just relax. Just relax, it's fine. Hey, Lithuania's gone. Free guns, and we can click a button. Hey, we've reformed the Commonwealth, the Polish-Lithuanian Empire, and a lot of this stuff is now core territory, so we don't have to worry about occupation. Ooh, another 11 German divisions that we'll destroy in here. Already 1.2 million casualties. Alright, with most of the, Slovakian front cleaned up, I'll redeploy those troops here, in these Russian fields, and we'll go to town. Once everyone's in position, we'll launch another major offensive. Assuming we even have to, because even while defending, we are inflicting heavy casualties on the Germans. 1.3 million already. The Germans are starting to crack under weight of naval invasions now as well. Next major offensive should see this finished. So let's launch one last great hurrah and make them bleed. Ah, Slovakia is out of commission and we have taken Berlin. The Polish juggernaut is unstoppable. There we have it. 1.9 million casualties inflicted on the Germans as Poland starting in 1939. Another achievement in the bag, but I want to finish this. I want to kick down the Axis completely. Oh no. Okay, nationalist Spain has joined as well. I'll probably have 1 billion divisions. I really don't want to continue this anymore. It's bound to be an Allied victory, a Polish victory. It's just gonna take too long. So let's have a look here. We've managed to capitulate the German Reich. We have inflicted 3.8 million casualties on the Germans as Poland starting in 1939. I think our mission is done here. And with that, I hope I have given the people what they want. This was demanded so many times on the channel and the Discord. Here we go, 30 minutes of hell complete. I hope you liked this video. If you did, leave a like and consider subscribing for more guides and challenges. If you didn't like it, that's fine. Just hit me up in the comments, tell me what I did wrong. And while you're in those comments, why not tell me what you want to see next? Maybe some cool achievements, maybe some other guides that I haven't done yet. And once more, I would like to put out a massive shout out to my Patreon supporters. You guys help make these videos happen. Thank you. And with that, I think we're done here. Bittersteel. Out.